Okay, so this is the Bav 3 Alligator Crusher from Dig Bits. Not much to say about this really, it's a fantastic thing. The way it works, the lumps and posts and footings and everything get crushed up in these jaws. Resize it down so you can put it through another crusher really, or just put it in the ground as is, just whatever you want to do. But the stuff that it makes is not really small enough to shovel, but you can put it in drives and whack it down and put some fines over the top. That's one way of doing it. I use it for pulling up pads similar to this concrete down here really on the ground. I use it for nibbling down walls, pulling out footings, knocking whole buildings down, steel buildings with steel in. It's great for that. I use it to pull roots out. You can grab the roots and pull stumps out and roots out. You just have to be careful you don't lose a teeth, but other than that, I've used it for that, and it's fantastic. I just use it for all sorts of bits and pieces. It saves a lot of hard work. You can fill wheelbarrows with it, not crush walls down and drop them in wheelbarrows, cart it away if access is poor. It's really handy. The machine itself got a really large pin through here, if you can see it. There's no way it's going to twist or warp. The steel itself is hard ox. Extra hard steel. I mean, this is probably done at a guess 1,500 hours, and you can see the wear. Not much at all really. Here's the welding, very minimal. I mean, you can see by the edges of here, this is how it started here, square, and it started to wear away the edges here. But it's all about how you use it really. If you abuse it and rub the nose, you will wear it away, but if you use it correctly on the teeth, you'll get years and years and years out of it. You can see here there was teeth on here, but they've worn off. But I mean, look how much is there. It's nowhere near worn away. Got a bit of wear on the rebar cutters, but other than that, the rebar cutters still work absolutely fine. When you're pulling down concrete buildings and there's steel in the legs, you just push them over, nibble through, and eventually the rebar cutters cut through the steel, and you just nibble it all up and separate the steel. Take that down the scrapyard and crush the rest. It works really well. Guard on the ram. I have to do a little bit of welding on here, just because the wear of all the pieces on here just wore the bracket and bent the bracket. It gets a little bit of abuse when you're getting carried away using it. A little bit of welding is fine. You have to replace the teeth every now and again. If you notice, I've done this one. I'll show you how to do that. They last a fair while if you don't abuse it. If you start picking massive lumps up with it and throwing them about and dropping them, you will snap the tips off. They're about 15 quid each, so it's not too bad. But other than that, cracking thing really. Love using it. And we'll go do some nipping up down the road so you can see how it goes. Just quickly before we go, just thought I'd show you how it's folded up. It doesn't fold up so well as the screening bucket I've got. I haven't quite got the arm all the way across to the edge, but if you notice, I have the extender extended slightly to give me more reach when I'm using the crusher. Otherwise you just can't reach a huge amount with it, but with it extended out, you get a lot more workable area. You can reach things that you just can't quite get to if you can't back up onto something. But it doesn't fold up hugely well. You can bring the arm round so it's not sticking out. You can fold the extender hoe fully back in. So it does close up better than that, but I'm only just going down the road, so it's not too bad. So that was about a pallet full of sleepers in 15 minutes. So I'm not breaking it right down really small because I'm just going to run it through the crusher anyway. But yeah, it's not done bad. Full pallet full in 15 minutes is pretty good. You see all the teeth still intact. So yeah, once you get the hang of it, it's all right. I mean, you got to get a feel for it when you start throwing them about. You start getting them in the jaws in the right way, they start breaking up. But it's not super powerful. But then if it was more powerful, I think it would probably bend itself. So, you know, once you get used to it, it's fine. I mean, these sleepers are hard concrete anyway. A lot of concrete you pull up oversights and even footings and stuff like that is softer than these sleepers, so they do break up quite a bit easier. Bricks obviously is nothing for it, they just fall apart. You get to beams like stuff like this, and yeah, that's harder for it because it's got the steel in. I mean, you can nibble away and it'll go eventually, but you've got to make a choice whether it's worth putting the wear on that machine to spend the time nibbling away those beams, or just putting them to one side. I mean, not much gets wasted really. The odd really hard big lump, I just can't get through it, but other than that, it's fine. But to be honest, the best part about the machine is taking it to site and pulling down buildings, pulling up floors, pulling out footings. That's where it really excels. But anyway, you've seen how it goes, so I hope that's all good for everyone. Okay, so you can see what happens to the teeth. That is one where the end has just been bitten off, really. That's what the teeth should look like. Got the tungsten carbide tips. The rear teeth don't need the tips. There's so much power in them. And the trouble with having the long tips on the rear teeth is it stops the bigger lumps actually going into the jaws. So I leave the worn tips in the back, and then the front two I have new tips in. So this one I'm going to replace. So I'm just going to show you how to do that. These are the tips, if you can see that. They're the tips you buy, about 15 quid each, so that does encourage you to be not too hard with the machine, because you can soon snap one off. These tips here, if you try and pick up lumps at the wrong angle with too much leverage on the machine and too much weight in the concrete, it will snap these little ends off, and then the teeth doesn't really work in the front. Then they'll just either put them in the back or chuck them away. I'm going to change this one now. make sure it's loose in the end, and that's how you do it.